Hi, I'm Karen, a member of the Association of Clarence and Dargan Incorporated and a 10-year resident of the area. Like so many other residents, I was drawn here by its wilderness, its expansive views, and colorful residents, a unique mix of characters. We love our Blue Mountains and Gardens of Stone. But for anyone who isn't familiar with this area, our small forest villages, Clarence and Dargan, sit on a ridgeline at the highest point of the Western Blue Mountains escarpment. We're surrounded by deep canyons, dense vegetation, and isolated roads, one way in and one way out. We are an area of very high fire risk. As you can see from these aerial shots, a large proportion of our area is also the responsibility of other land managers such as rail, road, Origin Energy, national parks, and Crown lands. In my 10 years, we've been hit by two major fire events: the 2013 State Mine Gully fire, and then more recently, on the same day in 2019, the Mount Gospers fire, and then the Mount Wilson backburn. On December 21st, at 1 p.m., we watched the Gospers Mountain fire hit Clarence, then Dargan, and then Bell. All roads and streets were blocked by fire. The time to evacuate to Lithgow, Sydney, or Mount Victoria had long passed. All it would take was a slight whiff of the wind towards us, but it didn't happen. Realizing that our little end of the street had escaped, we started taking the tin sheets we had put on our windows off. Turning around, I saw the wind had, as predicted, shifted 180 degrees, and the Mount Wilson backburn was now coming for us. The tin went back up. By 5 to 8 p.m., the Forest and Heath fire created by the Mount Wilson backburn was impacting on the northeastern section of Dargan and Bell. It wasn't until 12 midnight that the Mount Wilson backburn arrived at our property, creeping along and jumping cliff lines, then riding falling, burning trees into our gullies. No more photos were taken. The culmination of 2 months of volunteer firefighting and little sleep meant we were too bloody exhausted. 6 a.m. the next day. That's me and Tyson. He came up to help his dad, Bob, and I defend. We just had a few dribs and drabs left to blacken out. 108 buildings were reported as destroyed or damaged by police in our villages, which have a total population of only 327 in the 2021 census. An ensuing chaos developed as residents coped with the decision of whether to relocate, rebuild, or stay and try to reduce the risk of bushfire to surviving homes and properties before the next fire hit. There was a lot of discussion of who owned what land and what their responsibilities were in managing it to reduce the future bushfire risk. Long-term residents know we are at risk of fire and that we have a responsibility to ourselves and our neighbors. We constantly balance our love for our surroundings against the bushfire risk. This is reflected in how we try to protect our homes or manage the vegetation on our large blocks. However, with a large number of pensioners and new residents in our area, we realized we needed help in prioritizing the bushfire risks and in identifying cheap and easy solutions to fix them. ABCD hired Tony Hawkins, an independent bushfire consultant, to come to the homes of our villages and talk to the owners, their neighbors, and other residents about how to reduce their risk of bushfire. In all, we ran 11 events with 3 to 4 homes visited on each day. A range of about 5 to 20 people attended each event. This video is a summary of the topics discussed during those events. We hope it's of use to you. And by the way, regarding those other land managers who have a role in protecting our community, we will be lobbying the RFS to complete a community protection plan with the direct involvement of our community. We'll be sure to let you know how that turns out.